Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening with the CCR eSports Knoxville Dirt Derby here this evening as the Metalheads Truck Series back in action and back to battle. This time, though, from the asphalt to the dirt track as we are ready to rumble here and get our skirts in the dirt this afternoon as Knoxville is going to be a blast. This is going to be an absolutely amazing show, some great racing action, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what these drivers can do as they jump into the dirt track action with these NASCAR trucks as drivers will get ready to rock and roll. They will get ready to rumble here for their first heat race of the day. Now we should have, I think, 2 heat races. I believe everyone should probably make it to the show with the amount of drivers that we had show up. Maybe not. It'll be tight. It'll be interesting to see. Let me see if we can take a look at our Info, laps, no rules. There we go. Okay, so no, looks like we're going to do 2 heats. We're still going to do a consi, so it is going to be a consolation race at the minimum. So for these drivers, it is going to be, a couple heat races. Each, top 3 from each heat race will automatically advance into the a main feature event, and then we will have everyone else go to the consolation race, where we will have 22 drivers start that A main feature event. And unfortunately, yes, Winker just put in the chat, one driver will have to go home early. So unfortunately for one cat, we'll have to join the fans in the stands here this evening. Other than that, everyone else will get an opportunity to race our 80-lap A main feature event this evening, as we'll get them all ready to rumble and ready to roll out onto the speedway, as it is the 318. That is the Larry Johnston construction ride of Matthew Catania, who will start in the pole position to his outside in the 5-star Tire Specialties number 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. starting in second. Starting in third, the QH Designs number 54. That is David Traylor Jr., who will start in position number 3, with Tyler Stevenson starting in position number 4. Rusty Modesty in his Sinclair Dyno Care ride will start there in that 6th position, with the Night Stalker, I believe it says on the side here, the Night Stalker, Johnny Johnson Motorsports QH Designs number 00, it's Nate Congdale, who will start there in 6th. Starting in 7th is the 20 ride of Justin Lawson. Colton Hardy will start there to his outside in the 8th position. Bruce Bernard starting in 9th, with John Herbert rounding out our top 10 here in heat race number 1, with Keith Prince and Michael Newman rounding out our top 12 as we get ready to rumble. We get ready to set them loose as nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. We see that green flag flying. Green flag quickly in the air as heat race number 1 is underway. Heat race number 1 now getting started here this evening, as Matthew Catania going to lead us down and out of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Nice and easy as he takes us back across the start finish line. It is Catania who will lead lap number 1 here this evening. So Catania out in front, continuing to lead the way, continuing to show these drivers how to get it done here in this one. It's Catania out in front, starting to build a bit of that lead, starting to build a little bit of a gap here between himself and David Traylor Jr. as David does jump up into second. Tyler Stevenson now into that 3rd and final transfer spot, and that is going to be an area that you're really going to want to watch. Right there, that 3rd spot is the 51, kicking the rear end out as he's in that 3rd spot. That's the 3rd and final locked in position, but look out back behind him, Ashley Ellison. Oh, baby, Ashley's been sliding backwards here, and right there slid right into that 6th ride of Rusty Modesty. That became very, very close to Modesty almost going around right there. Luckily enough, he's able to hang on to it, keep it rolling, keeping it pointed in the right direction. Now look out as the Night Stalker of Nate Cogdell going over the berm right there, going for a little bit of a ride down through quarter 1 and 2. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it as he holds on to that 7th position. Unfortunately, you sit back here in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. You know that you are potentially about to go to our consolation race, as only the top 3 will advance to the A main here this evening. As Catania out in front, David Traylor sits in 2nd. It is still Tyler Stevenson trying to hold on to 3rd here. He's trying to keep this 6th ride back there at bay. Modesty is all over his back bumper though, trying to jump up, trying to steal position number 3 away from Stevenson here. Unfortunately, right there, kind of got up onto the berm, got a little bit tight down and out of corner number 2, had to roll out of it, and that cost him quite a bit of time right there. And now will find himself a few truck lengths back with only 1 lap left to go here in this heat race. So for Catania, he's out in front. He is set sail 2.6 seconds out in front. And for that Larry Johnston contracting number 318, he'll exit corner number 4, back down across the start finish line. He will see that white flag fly, and Matthew Catania, first driver to punch his ticket into the show, with David Traylor Jr. and Tyler Stevenson all going to lock their way into the A main feature event, as Lawson, Rusty Modesty, John Herbert, Bruce Bernard, Ash Hilson Jr., Keith Prince, Michael Newman, Colton Hardy, and the 0-0. Nate Cogdell will bring up the rear of the field as looked like Ellison, Hardy, and Cogdell got a little tied up there down in through corner 3 and 4. Unfortunately, all three of those drivers fell deep into the field and they're going to have a tough time battling their way in through our consolation race, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to roll here for heat race number 2. Heat race number 2 about to get underway, as starting in the pole position in the Goldberg WWE number 92 ride. That is the winning bid machine of Clinton Woodby. Woodby will start on the pole to his outside in the beautiful Scott Bloomquist-inspired paint scheme of Mr. Caleb Kleinert. Starting in position number 3 in the 5 ride, that is Matt Hayden to his outside. The 27 is Nick Gardner. Starting in the 5th position, the 28 ride is the stack up machine of Nathan Somerville. His outside will be the 33 of Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. with Jesse Calloway starting there in 7th, and Rooster Ronan rounding out our top 8. Starting in position number 9 in the Muleburger Custom Homes number 42, that is Kevin Winker, and to his outside, the Big Cat Taxidermy number 98 is Benjamin McKinnon, and bringing up the rear of the field, back in position number 11, is that grumpy goat machine of Mr. Paul Durkee. So 11 more drivers, 3 more transfer spots into our A main feature event, as we'll get ready to set these drivers once again back to battle. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button on the stream right now, hit that subscribe button, and get ready for what is going to be another great show as heat race number 2 ready to rumble here this evening, as Clinton Woodby out in front, going to get ready to see this green flag fly. They're going to wait for the green flag to be displayed down in the front straightaway, and there you go. Green flag is out. The 92 gets a decent launch, trying to keep himself pointed the right direction, and obviously trying to keep this 196 of Caleb Kleiner back there at bay. Kleiner doing a great job, getting a great run through that middle lane, and able to work to the outside of that 92, but now a bit of a slider down through 3 and 4. For Clinton Woodby, not going to quite work out for him, as it's going to allow Caleb Kleinert to lead lap number 1 here this evening. So Kleinert crosses him over, beats him back to the line, but they're still door to door for position number 1 as the 92 moves more to the outside lane. That 196 of Caleb Kleinert is going to stick to that inside groove here this evening, as Matt Hayden holds on to that 3rd and final transfer position. Nick Gardner, first truck on the outside looking in, has him and Somerville still right there in 4th and 5th, with the 4 rider Jesse Calloway working his way up into that 6th position. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Kevin Winker, our top 8 out on the racetrack. Unfortunately, if you're Winker, Rooster Ron, and Benjamin McKinnon, even Paul Durkee, you're starting to realize that, hey, you're going to have to try to race your way in here from potentially our consolation race, and that is not a fun spot to be. You run into an issue, you have a problem, you could potentially be that one and only driver on the outside looking in, and unfortunately not being able to get an opportunity to win our A main feature event here this evening, as unfortunately deeper in the pack we do see McKinnon and Durkee turned around here. Both drivers going to get turned around. Both drivers going to try to get their trucks pointed back in the right direction. The 98 ride's got to get rolling here as our race leaders are reeling into him in a quick curry. No caution flags. We keep it clean and green as Caleb Kleiner continues to lead the way, as the 196 ride out in front going to run into some lap traffic. That could make things dicey here towards the front of the field, but looks like Kleiner and the 92 would be able to get by him there in a quick curry, as Hayden stays there in 3rd. No worries there for our top 3 as Somerville works his way up and into 4th. He's the first driver on the outside looking in here of a transfer spot as the white flag has been displayed, and unfortunately he's about a second back of that 3rd place driver Matt Hayden, as down and out of corner number 2, back down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. It will be the 196 of Caleb Kleinert, who will win heat race number 2 here this evening. Caleb Kleinert, Clinton Woodby, Matt Hayden will punch their ticket into the show. Unfortunately, everyone else will go to our consolation races here this evening in Somerville. Callaway, Nick Gardner, Kevin Winker, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Rooster Rodden, Paul Durkee, and Benjamin McKinnon will round out our field here in heat race number 2 this afternoon. But it's all Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert able to pick up the win here. Kleinert able to get the dub and pull himself up and into, a good starting spot for our A-Main feature event. And no worries here in our consolation race as we'll get ready now for our Consi. Drivers jumping right into the action, right back into the battle here this evening. And our consolation race is about to get underway. We got 17 drivers taking the green flag here in the consolation race. So 17 drivers going to take the start here. I do believe 16 drivers will advance into the A-Main. Woo, okay, that's going to get fun. That's going to get real fun real quick. All right, let's take a look. Starting on the pole, it's the drivers that came home 4th in their heat races. Justin Lawson, Nathan Somerville will make up the front row. John Herbert, Jesse Callaway back in 3rd and 4th with Modesty and Nick Garner our top 6. Bruce Bernard, Kevin Winker, Ash Ellison Jr., and Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. going to round out our top 10. Keith Prince, Rooster Rodden, Michael Newman, Paul Durkee, Colton Hardy, our top 15 out there on the racetrack with Benjamin McKinnon, Nate Cogdell going to round out our top 17 here this evening as these drivers will get ready to rumble as Cogdell will start at the back of the pack here. Now he's in that last and final transfer spot into the A-Main feature event. If you're Cogdell, all you need to do is virtually gain at least one position to lock your way into the show, but no one in front of him wants to go, so he's going to have his work cut out for him. But all these drivers are going to have to try and keep their trucks pointing in the right direction, not have any issues, and try and work themselves into the feature event here this evening as, man, this is going to get fun. This is going to get interesting. I do believe it is going to be 8 laps here again for this consolation race. So not a ton of laps, not a ton of time to really navigate and potentially migrate your way a little closer to the front of the field here for a bit better of a starting spot, at least in our feature event, or at least you run into one problem. You could be the only driver that has a problem, and it could put you on the outside of a transfer spot looking in. As here we go, Lawson and Somerville, door to door, back to green flag racing here at the beautiful Knoxville Raceway as Somerville gets a great launch on the outside lane. They're starting to spread out 2, 3 wide. Everyone's looking to try to work their way to the front of the field here, knowing that they can at least get a solid top 10 spot with a top 4 finish here in this heat race. So everyone's still got that A-Main on their mind. His Modesty down low here. He's going to make some big moves. Slides up in front of that 87 of John Herbert. Herbert kind of stuffed into the middle here as the 27 of Nick Gardner on the outside. You got to wonder, you got to make sure you are A-okay and not running into issues. If we do take a look, we do see that Night Stalker 0-0 ride of Nate Cogdell working his way up into 14th here. He's got his QH Designs teammate right there behind him. Colton Hardy up and into 15th. Michael Newman rolls in 16th. Unfortunately, Benjamin McKinnon falls backwards here, but now we run into more issues. There's a problem. Kevin Winker and John Herbert all of a sudden tied together here, and this could be disaster for John Herbert. So you watch the 27 up into the outside fence. The 42 try to cut back down the racetrack. Him and the 87 ride of John Herbert get tied together. That kind of gets Herbert sideways and almost upside down there, but he loses all that time and all that track position. It will now be at the rear of the field, and he's about 8 seconds back of this 98 ride, but now more contact. 98, the 42, they're bouncing off one another as out in front, Somerville continues to set sail. Callaway up and into second here. Jesse looks like he's got a bit of a hot rod here this evening for this racetrack as Modesty rolls there in third with Ash Helson Jr., Justin Lawson, Nick Gardner, Bruce Bernard, Keith Prince, Nate Cogdell now up inside the top 8 with Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. rounding out our top 10. They should all be A-okay as long as they don't make any more contact and run into more issues. As Colton Hardy, Rooster Rodden, Kevin Winker right there. Winker still trying to hang on to this 42 truck as Benjamin McKinnon continues to send it in there. McKinnon sending it in deep, washes up again. The 12 right of Newman trying to keep putting the wrong direction. It's, oh, look out! It's Nathan Somerville turned around, and same with the 4 right of Jesse Callaway. Our race leaders out in front. Looks like Callaway sends it in, gets into the berm, washes up the racetrack into Somerville. They both go around, and this could play disaster for them as that sends them both back towards John Herbert. Now Herbert still on the outside of that final transfer spot looking in, but man, Callaway and Somerville are right there in front of him as Modesty for the final time here in the Consolation race will head down and out of quarter number 4. It's Rusty Modesty who will pick up the win here in our Consolation race. As Ash Hilson Jr., Lawson, Nick Gardner, our top 4 with Nate Cogdell rounding out our top 5 from the back of the pack up into 5th position. Heck of a Consi right there for the 0-0 up 12 positions and able to come home with the top 5 there. Incredible run as Bruce Bernard, Keith Prince, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Colton Hardy, Rooster Rodden, our top 10 with Winker, McKinnon, everyone else there, all except, I do believe, the 87 ride of John Herbert are going to put themselves into our A-main feature event. Unfortunately, looked like Herbert was still the one and only driver on the outside looking in, and he will be the only driver to load up his ride and join the fans in the stands here this evening for this A-main this afternoon. His Shada in the chat says, hashtag Winker Nation, cheering on K-Dub here this evening as Winker gonna look to try to, right the ship there after a bit of a rough, consolation race, kind of getting bounced around there a little bit. Obviously, the contact between him and that 87 right of John Herbert, which put Herbert up and onto his side there and almost upside down. Luckily enough, that truck did roll back on all 4. He was able to keep on battling, just not luckily enough with no caution flag and no opportunity to kind of reel these guys back in. So that's going to make things very fun for this feature event and for the future, because I'm sure Herbert's not going to be very happy with the contact between him and Winker. I'm sure Winker's not going to be very happy with the contact either, especially afterwards, just kind of getting bounced around there a couple times. Him and McKinnon kind of got into it. That's going to be stuff we're going to have to look at throughout this race, and where some of that, amnesty may continue to carry over and build up here, not only through this race but throughout the season. And the dirt track racing, man, it can create a lot of fireworks in a quick hurry, and I think for a lot of these drivers, the fireworks have been firing off here already this afternoon, and it's going to continue to be that way as we'll get ready to go back to battle. We'll get ready to duke it out here in just a couple more moments as driver is going to get an opportunity to have a quick warm-up session. They'll be able to jump out onto the racetrack, try to, work on their race trucks, make sure that they are absolutely perfect, make sure that they are set up nicely, and get ready for our 80-lap feature event here. 80 laps for our A-main feature event this afternoon, where all 22 drivers will have an opportunity to try to park themselves up and into the Knoxville Raceway victory lane. As K-Dub says, I'm sorry, Herbert, I made him flip lap aloud. Yeah, that was a bit of a tough one right there, K-Dub. That was a bit of a tough one. Hard contact, hard racing. Things happen and they happen quickly, but it is what it is. As Herb says, I love you. I love you. I don't know about that one. Herb. I don't know if I believe you, brother. I don't know if I believe you. As here we go, drivers jumping out there. We're going to get a quick drink in, and then we're going to get ready to rumble for our A-main feature event here in just a couple more minutes. So don't go anywhere, and make sure you hit that like button on the stream to help push the stream out a little bit more, man. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get ready to rumble here in just a little bit.
Melody screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we conk ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Melody screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we conk ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go. As we get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble here this evening for the CCR eSports Knoxville Dirt Derby with the Metalheads Truck Series here from Knoxville Raceway. We have 80 laps of racing action here for our A-main feature event. And starting on the pole, it is a CCR eSports front row here this evening is Matthew Catania. We'll start in that pole position. Catania out in front. We'll see that green flag fly with Caleb Kleiner, his teammate, there in second. David Traylor Jr. and Clinton Woodby will round out our top four with Tyler Stevenson, Matt Hayden back in row number 3. Row number 4 will have Rusty Modesty and Nick Gardner. As our 5th row will be Justin Lawson and Bruce Bernard rounding out our top 10. Nate Cogdell, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Keith Prince, Rooster Rodden, Colton Hardy, Benjamin McKinnon, Nathan Somerville, Michael Newman, Jesse Calloway, and Paul, the old man Durkee, will round out our top 20 with Kevin Winker and Ashley Ellison Jr. bringing up the rear of the field here this evening as 22 drivers will get ready to rumble in the CCR eSports Knoxville Dirt Derby here this evening. Y'all came for a show? Well, here you go. As the lights are off, the official iRacing pace truck, and we'll get ready to set them loose the next time by the start-finish line. As we will see our official iRacing pace truck here make that hard left-hand turn back down pit road, and we will get ready to go to battle here this evening. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. It's down and in to the Geico restart zone. The green flag will fly, and here we go, rumbling and racing from Knoxville Raceway as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation. As that beautiful Scott Bloomquist inspired paint scheme, the CCR eSports number 196 of Caleb Kleiner rolling the outside lane, looking to take the early race lead. As Caleb Kleiner up and into the top spot here, able to beat his teammate Matthew Catania back to the start-finish line, but now a little bit of contact between the two of them, and it looks like for Matthew Catania will slide back up and into the top spot as there's a little contact between that 51 of Stevenson and the 54 of David Traylor Jr. Luckily enough, both drivers able to keep pointing in the right direction, and Stevenson will continue to work on the back bumper of that 54 Ryan, as it is a dogfight back here throughout the rest of the field. Everyone's trying to work their way up towards the front. Drivers now 80 laps here at Knoxville. It seems like it may be a long time, but it is not a ton of laps. You got to start making moves. You got to try to use these restarts to your advantage and try to gain as much positions as you can. As you do see Somerville, Jesse Calloway both already trying to march their way up towards the front here. Two fast cats that looked really good in that Consolation race, but ran into problems there in the closing laps, and for both drivers, they're looking to try to race their way back up towards the front. As you do take a look at that number 17 ride, Bruce Bernard. Oh baby, Bruce was very sideways right there. Unfortunately for the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr., had to get checked up to avoid running over him and potentially bringing out our first caution flag of the day. And unfortunately, not only did the 17 riders lose about 9 positions on the racetrack, but Ashley Ellison Jr. just lost about 7 or 8 himself. So tough break there for both drivers. As out in front, Catania continues to lead the way here, 5 laps into our A main feature event. Now, we will have a stage break at the end of lap number 20. So for all these drivers, you know you got 20 laps here to kind of settle in, to try to find a few spots here, to try to work yourself forward out there on the racetrack. Maybe not be too aggressive, trying to keep the fenders out of your race truck, and try to just make sure that you're there for the final 60 of this feature event. But it also gives you an opportunity for a free pit stop there. So if you do send it, you do get a little bit of damage. Even though you may have to give up some of that track position, you can get that damage repaired during that stage break and kind of get some of that body work back into the right position and back into the battle. Just have to build and work your way through that final 60 laps through a ton of traffic out there on the racetrack. As the 51 of Stevenson holds on to that 5th position, you do see Matt Hayden back there in 6th with Modesty there in 7th. Justin Lawson and Nick Garner door to door. This is a battle for the 8th and 9th position as the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell. We saw Cogdell having himself a pretty solid heat race, ran into some issues in that heat race, especially towards the end of it. Unfortunately, went from, running inside the top 5 to all of a sudden finding himself at the back of the pack in his heat race, which started him at the rear of the field for that Consi. Worked his way from 17th to 5th in that 8-lap period. So Nate Cogdell, he might have a couple tricks up his sleeve here for late in this race. We'll have to wait and see what that 0-0, the Night Stalker, has in store for us here this evening as Colton Hardy is QH designed teammate right there behind him is Somerville, and Callaway now up and into 12th and 13th. Ashley Ellison Jr. battling his way back up into that 14th position as K-Dub Kevin Winker in the Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 rounds out our top 15. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Paul Durkee, Rooster Rodden, Bruce Bernard, Keith Prince rounding out our top 20 with Michael Newman and Benjamin McKinnon at the back of the pack. Is out in front, and it is all Matthew Catania here. Catania once again starting to pull away here. Got himself about 1.5 seconds of a lead already as David Traylor Jr. continues to battle door to door with Caleb Kleiner. Now the big question is going to be is how are the tires going to hold up here for these drivers? That is going to be a big thing here throughout the evening. Now, I don't believe, even though they're NASCAR trucks, even though it's NASCAR racing, I'm not sure if these drivers can come down pit road and make a tire change. I'm not sure if it acts the same as dirt track racing. I know with street stocks and late models, even sprint cars, unless you get a flat tire, they do not allow you to change tires when it comes to any of the dirt servers. So I'm assuming being here at Knoxville, it's going to be a lot the same. I don't think you're going to be able to come down pit road and actually make a pit stop where you can change tires and put new French tires on here, closing out the maybe later in this race. So it'll be interesting to see if drivers will have to really worry about that fuel serving and, potentially trying to save some tire out there on the racetrack for later in this race, where maybe being on the throttle a little bit too much, maybe trying to run away with it, may put you into a very bad spot late in this race, especially if that competition caution flag comes out here in a little bit and all of a sudden you get caught a little flat-footed and a little deeper in the field where you may not be able to battle back and gain those positions after burning some of your tires up. As you do see our race leader, Matthew Catania, starting to roll into some lap traffic right here. That is Keith Prince and Benjamin McKinnon right there in front of them. And if you're that 318 machine, as much as you want to try to keep your foot in the throttle and work yourself around these guys, you got to wonder and worry about if they make a mistake and potentially put you into a bad position where you get that damage or potentially hold you up too much. But right now, just rolling that inside lane to perfection for that Larry Johnston Contracting number 318 ride of Matthew Catania as the Laporte, I don't know what the rest of that says, but the Laporte ride there, that 318 of Catania still out in front. Continue to click these laps off. Down across the line will complete lap number 17 as he puts that 12 ride of Michael Newman a lap down, and now only 19 drivers left on the lead lap here this evening. Catania continues to set a great pace here. He's got a 3+ second lead now between himself and David Traylor Jr. Clinton Woodby's up and into third as Caleb Kleiner slides back into position number 4. The 51 machine of Tyler Stevenson there in 5th with Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, Justin Lawson, Nick Gardner, and Colton Hardy rounding out our top 10. Oh, look out! Around goes the 28. That is Nathan Somerville pointing the wrong direction, and that will bring out our first caution flag of the day, and that will be the completion of our stage right there as well. So Somerville runs into some issues here, goes for a loop-de-loop. Let's take a look and see what happens. So Ashley Ellison down to the inside, gets a great run here on the outside lane. This kind of gets a little bit loose right there, shoots down the racetrack across the nose of Ashley Ellison. As they make that contact, 28 Ryan gets turned around. He gets it looped back in the right direction in a quick hurry, but stopped and pointed the wrong direction there right in front of our flag man. iRacing quick to throw that caution flag hit with oncoming traffic to keep the driver safe. And luckily enough, no one else gets tied up in it. No one else gets tore up in it. And we see that yellow flag fly for the first time here today as the caution flag does get displayed. That will be our stage break. So Matthew Catania with the stage win here this evening. So Catania wins stage number 1 in our only stage break here this evening, with David Traylor Jr. going to come home in second and Clinton Woodby rounding out our top 3. Caleb Kleiner, Tyler Stevenson, the top 5 there in the stage with the Hayden, Modesty, Justin Lawson, Nick Gardner, and Colton Hardy rounding out the top 10 there in stage number 1. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening as Catania has the race lead, but you got to wonder, how are these tires going to start to shape up here? Now, it doesn't look like anyone's going to come down pit road. Obviously, we've not been able to get a hold of fresh tires, not really having too much damage or anything for any of these cats. No one's taken the bait. No one's headed down pit road. We did see Michael Newman get the wave around the lucky dog back on the lead lap, so great break there for Newman. But now, do we see another, 20-lap run, another caution flag, or do we see this one stay clean and green here to the checkered flag? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out and how these tires kind of hold up. And if you're, some of these drivers, I don't know if they know some of the tricks, maybe trying to cool their tires off a little bit more, or trying to, move around a little bit, knock some bigger dirt or piles of dirt off of their inner fenders, off these trucks during this caution flag. But we haven't seen a whole lot of wiggling. We haven't seen a whole lot of drivers getting up into that, heavier dirt on the outside lane to try to cool the tires off a little bit. May help them out here with the NASCAR trucks. I'm not too sure. It doesn't quite work in the, the dirt surface for late models and sprint cars, stuff like that. But for these NASCAR trucks and their tires, it may work out. But here we go. So we're back to battle. Catania continues to lead the way here. Gets a great launch, great restart here, and now we start to see, David Traylor Jr. trying to hold on and trying to play a little defense here, trying to keep Clinton Woodby from being able to jump up and steal that second spot as Caleb Kleinert right there in the mix. Here comes the 51, right as contact now between Stevenson and Clinton Woodby. Oh, baby, that was very close to potentially seeing another caution flag right there as the 51 sends it in there deep, makes contact here with this 92 ride at Clinton Woodby. Taking a look at how sideways Woodby gets here after the 51 ride gets into that left rear quarter panel, and somehow or another they're just able to stay kind of tied together. They kind of bounce off one another, and luckily enough it keeps that 92 ride pointing in the right direction. Now, unfortunately for that 92, sent him beat back quite a bit here, battling for a top three up inside the hunt at the front, and now finds himself battling back here for the 8th, 9th position with Colton Hardy. You do see Kevin Winker now right up into the mix. Here comes Justin Lawson up here towards the front as well, and now you gotta wonder here with the 20 ride, the 42 of Winker, some of these drivers that were a little deeper in the field here early on this afternoon, were they gonna hold them back? Were they maybe trying to save a little bit of extra tire there? I don't know. If I'm them, I also want to save a little bit more here throughout this run as well. As much as it's tempting to kind of go, you got to wonder, are we going to see more yellow flags here this evening? And now we do see the 4 ride of Jesse Calloway and the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell both running into issues here. Contact between the two of them. Let's take a look and see what happens. So Cogdell up on the high side. The 4 ride slides up there. Unfortunately, 0-0 just gets into that rear end just a little bit. Now they're door-to-door and on corner exit. 4 of Jesse Calloway gets loose, shoots up the racetrack. You see Paul Durkee nowhere to go, get some issues there as well. But for both, that Johnny Johnson Motorsports in the Liquid Death number 4 ride, both kind of turned around right there, and unfortunately both fall deep in the field. But out in front, it's still Catania continuing to lead the way. Catania's out in front. Caleb Kleiner now up and into second again as he's able to work his way back around David Traylor Jr. David now battling back once again, trying to steal that second spot back away from that 196 as the CCR eSports rides hoping to try to keep themselves up here in the mix at the front of the field, obviously wanting to try to pick up a race that they sponsored here for a victory for those drivers. And for Catania, no better time to potentially, I do believe, get his first win on the season. I do believe Catania has yet to find victory lane. Now, a couple of his teammates, when we look at Caleb Kleiner, when we look at that number 51 ride of Tyler Stevenson, they found victory lane here this season already. So, for Catania to go 10 races and not find victory lane, even for Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner won the Clash, so it was really a non-points race that Kleiner won. So in our points-paying races, we've yet to see Matthew Catania and Caleb Kleinert find victory lane here this season after such a dominating last season. It seems weird that they haven't been able to find victory lane, but now in a race with their team, the CCR eSports, sponsored here this evening, can they finally break through and potentially see Catania or maybe Caleb Kleinert find victory lane this afternoon? As Catania continues to lead the way once again out to a 3-second lead as Caleb Kleinert rolls his way again to the outside of David Traylor Jr., trying to work his way into second, and it looks like he's finally able to clear that 54 of David Traylor Jr. David will fall back into third here as Kleinert up and into position number 2. Matt Hayden rolls there in fourth as Justin Lawson now up inside the top 5 as Lawson now into 5th here as Rusty Modesty, Clinton Woodby are top 7. Tyler Stevenson and a couple of these CCR eSports ride with Stevenson and Ashley Ellison Jr. rolling there in 8th and 9th. Kevin Wink are going to round out our top 10 in that Muhleberger Custom Homes number 42 machine with Colton Hardy, Nick Gardner, Nathan Somerville, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., and Paul Durkee are top 15. Rooster Rod and Michael Newman, Bruce Bernard, Jesse Calloway, Caleb Kleiner, or actually it's Nate Congdell, Keith Prince, and Benjamin McKinnon are top 22 here this evening. And for our race leader, Matthew Catania, starting to roll into some of that lap traffic once again. That's Cogdell and Callaway right here in front of him, and he's catching up to him in a quick hurry. He's trying to put a few more drivers a lap down here in this main feature event as these drivers are clicking the laps off here in a quick hurry here, ladies and gentlemen, and they are putting on an absolutely amazing show for us here this evening. As for the 3:18 of Matthew Catania, a 4-second lead, and now some lap traffic between himself and his teammate Caleb Kleinert, who rolls back in second. So 4 seconds separating first and second, but it is a tight battle still back here for that second spot. But look out, there goes Callaway, and there is the caution flag. Jesse Callaway around again in the yellow will be displayed. Heartbreaker here for Jesse Callaway. Let's take a look at it. Potentially 98 ride running into some more issues. Callaway's rolling the outside lane, and all of a sudden 98 ride slow up on the outside and kind of just pinches Callaway, nowhere to go. You saw that 98 also turned around and into the outside fence, but it looks like as 98 of Benjamin McKinnon starts to see the, our race leaders catch up to him here. He's just gets a little tight, watches up the racetrack, and I think once he kind of realizes that that's the race leader right behind him, he kind of just rolls out of the throttle. That's where you see the truck kind of level out, get straight, and unfortunately not really complete that corner and push tight up the racetrack. And unfortunately for Jesse Callaway, rolling the outside lane, he didn't really have anywhere else to go except for potentially either running over the 98 or going to the outside. He tried the outside, and unfortunately still wasn't good enough because he ended up getting ran over, him and the 98 right tied together, and that will bring out our caution flag once again this afternoon, man. Heartbreaker for both of those drivers. Obviously not the runs that they were hoping for here this evening. Both running into some, tough issues, and now both will find themselves at least a lap down out there on the racetrack. And I do believe for Nate Cogdell, that will be a great break here for that QH Design, Sonic Graphic Designs Night Stalker machine. The Johnny Johnson Motorsports ride will gain the lucky dog here and get back onto the lead lap this afternoon. So a great break there for him as he'll be able to continue to keep on battling as that Duck Donuts caution flag was a great timing for that one. Great timing for that Duck Donuts to fly right there and give these guys an opportunity. Now, here you go. Maybe these guys are listening in. You see the 318 kind of running inside that inside here. You see a couple of these other drivers now starting to roll a little bit more into that heavier dirt on the outside of the racetrack and on the inside of the racetrack. You saw it there during that pace lap right there. These guys are trying to dip their tires into that heavier dirt that's a little bit cooler. It's not really too worn out, and potentially giving themselves, a little bit cooler tires where it could really help them out here for these restarts. And we'll have to wait and see if that will make a difference and help the CCR eSports rides try to continue to battle here at the front of the field. Catania, great jump, great launch, and able to continue to lead the way here. Is down the back straightaway. Look at, we saw Stevenson up into the outside fence down the backstretch. Luckily enough, able to keep it pointing the right direction. Keeps on battling. It's everybody in a fight out there on the racetrack too. 3 wide and a little bit of almost 4 wide out there on the speedway as Matthew Catania continues to lead the way. Caleb Kleiner stays in second, but here comes that 54 of David Traylor Jr., the 5 right of Matt Hayden, right into the battle, and now here comes Modesty, the 20 right of Lawson, that 92, right back into the battle, and all night long, Ashley Elson Jr. has been battling his way back up inside the top 8 after some early contact, and finally for that 5-star Tire Specialties number 133, right back into the battle, trying to join his CCR eSports teammates here inside the top 5. Unfortunately, one of their teammates, the 51 of Tyler Stevenson, has been on the slide backwards here in the second half of this feature event and will unfortunately find himself just trying to hang on to a top 10. But right now, it is Matthew Catania who continues to lead the way as the 318 out in front will show these drivers how to get it done. Is nice and easy back down and across the start-finish line. He will complete lap number 45 here this evening. So we did see Bruce Bernard and I believe Michael Newman running into some issues there. Luckily enough, both drivers able to get their rides rolling, pointed back in the right direction. No caution flag. We keep it clean and green, but with 45 laps down, it is 35 laps left to go here. This time by the start finish line be 34 laps here in this A-main feature event as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. as the 3:18 of Matthew Catania continues to lead the way here this evening. Catania looking to try to set sail here. And in front once again, trying to open up more of a lead between himself and his teammate in that beautiful number 196. That Scott Bloomquist-inspired paint scheme here this evening is a great crank it up here this afternoon with only 25 laps left to go. Catania continues to lead the way, continues to show these drivers how to get it done here in this one. Caleb Kleinert rolls there in second. There's that alien ride, the Scott Bloomquist machine, out there on the speedway, rolling solidly in that second position. David Traylor Jr. quite a ways back here in position number 3 with Rusty Modesty up and into position number 4. Matt Hayden rounds out our top 5 as Clinton Woodby there in 6. Ashley Ellison Jr. up and into 7th. Tyler Stevenson rounds out our top 8 with Colton Hardy and Nick Gardner, our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Nate Cogdell, the Night Stalker QH Design ride there in 11th with Kevin Winker, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Paul Durkee there in 14th, and Justin Lawson rounding out our top 15. Rooster Rodden there in 16th. Nathan Somerville finds himself as the first driver one lap down as the caution flag is going to fly here. Caution flag is displayed, so great break here for Somerville. He should be in line for that lucky dog here this evening, but a tough break. Oh no, not only for Bruce Bernard, but our third place driver. It looks like David Traylor Jr. may have gotten tied up in this one. Let's take a look here. So on board with the 17 ride, this is Bruce Bernard. Kind of loses the rear end a little bit right here. Shoots down the racetrack and right into the lap of our third place driver. And all of a sudden you see Clinton Woodby nowhere to go. Gets some pretty solid contact into that as well. That is a heartbreaker there for David Traylor Jr. rounding out our top, rounding out our top 3 here. And all of a sudden, that lap traffic jumps up and bites you in the back end. And that is something that these drivers, when they get into that lap traffic, you always got to be very, very cautious about it. See the 17 right here, kind of loses the rear end, shoots down the racetrack, goes from the high side down to the middle lane, bottom lane right there. Unfortunately, before he could get the thing straightened out, he kind of washes down, tail tags that number 54, David Traylor Jr. He's got nowhere to go. Really didn't see that 17 ride there to his outside, shooting back down the racetrack, expecting him to stay to that outside lane. And as they get tied together, finally just shoots this 54 ride back up the racetrack and right into the lap there. Heavy left front damage for that number 92 ride. Even left front damage as well for that 12 ride, as you see Ashley Ellison Jr. and Tyler Stevenson just able to avoid heavy contact there themselves. But that is a tough hit for a driver that's won the last couple races. If you're David Traylor Jr., trying to be that consistency driver here and hoping to get another solid top 3, top 4 run or something like that, and all of a sudden you find yourself back in 16th position late in this race. Gonna have to see if he can navigate his way back up here and back into a solid battle for maybe a top 10, maybe get a top 5 still out of tonight. It'll be a tough race. It'll be tough to battle all the way back up as it's less than 20 laps left to go. And if you're that 3:18 of Matthew Catania, you've just been kind of the reflection of perfection all evening long. He's led every lap so far. He's just got to hope that the tires hold on for another 19 laps and he can pull himself up and into victory lane here this evening. As here we go, back to battle, and this is going to get interesting in a real quick hurry. It's Caleb Kleinert, Matt Hayden. You see Rusty Modesty all right there in the mix. Will that damage become an issue here for the 92 rider, Clinton Woodby? Heavy left front contact. You gotta wonder if that may affect his race truck late in this race. His drivers, now that that caution flag just came out, you get another boost of energy, you get another opportunity to try to battle your way up towards the front, try to get a good finish here this evening. That's only going to raise the intensity level here for a lot of these drivers. We're gonna start to see them pushing harder and harder, try to make bigger moves, try to slice and dice maybe a little bit tougher out there on the racetrack. Is Hayden up and into third here, but he's chasing down a pair of the CCR eSports teammates. The 3:18 of Matthew Catania, 196 ride of Caleb Kleinert lead the way as the caution flag will be displayed once again here this evening. Yellow flag will come back out for our 4th yellow here on the night. So our 4th caution flag here in this one, as it looks like Paul Durkee going to run into some issues here now. Look like Durkee and maybe made contact or just got loose here himself out at corner number 3 and 4. Right there, just kind of loses the rear end, shoots down into the apron here. Rolls back onto the racing surface. We'll have to wait and see. And it looks like he gets back in there. Tight, unfortunately, washes up into Justin Lawson. And Lawson and Durkee tied together up against the outside fence. Eventually, the 31 just kind of goes up and around off the nose of the 20 right here, but nothing Lawson can do. Kind of gets body slammed up there in pretty solid contact for both drivers, and you're going to see the 28 of Somerville also get some contact into that as he gets into the back end of Lawson to bring out our next wave of caution flags, and that's going to bring us all back into battle here and now for these drivers. We see a couple of them come down pit side. Here comes Somerville. We see Lawson's down pit side. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr.'s down pit road, trying to get some repairs, trying to make sure these trucks are ready to rumble here for this final, closing laps of this race. We're down to 15 laps left to go. Be 14 the next time by the start-finish line. And for Matthew Catania out in front, what do? What's the game plan here? You're trying to not only keep your teammate back there at bay, but there's a lot of hungry drivers still back there behind you. Has anyone kind of got something left up their sleeve? Do we see somebody maybe saving a little bit more tire and all of a sudden finding that extra tenth of a second, 2/10 here late in the race and being able to storm their way up towards the front of the field to steal this win away? When you look back at, maybe a driver that's kind of hung out just inside the top 10, outside the top 10, like the 97 of Colton Hardy, a driver early on who kind of fell back in here in the feature event in that 51 ride of Tyler Stevenson. What about David Traylor Jr., who's worked his way back up inside the top 10 after restarting there in 16th in those few laps, able to work his way up 6 positions and trying to work his way back into the battle here. Maybe trying to get back up into second. As here we go. Back to green flag racing. Great launch there for that 196. Caleb Klein with the inside lane. Able to get the launch that he was looking for. Able to beat his teammate back down and through corner 1 and 2. And now here we go. Slide jump for the 318 of Catania. Crossover for Caleb Kleiner and his teammates in the CCR eSports rides. Duking it out here at the front of the field. Catania goes to the high side. Caleb Kleiner going to slide through the middle as the alien Scott Bloomquist Painski machine is looking to try to put himself up and into the Knoxville Raceway victory lane, but his CCR eSports teammate, the 318 of Matthew Catania, who's led virtually every lap here this evening, does not want to give it up here. He is not going to try to back down. He's going to continue to look for everything he can, but late in this race, the tires are starting to fade away. Mistakes may start to happen, and obviously, as the intensity continues to build up, oh, look out! Upside down goes the 97 of Colton Hardy. Hardy goes for a ride, then gets collected there with the 31 machine, and the caution flag is back out on the speedway. Heavy hits there for Colton Hardy. Big hit again for the number 31 right, and there's a lot of drivers who get tied up here in this one. This is a battle inside our top 5. This is a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're a little 3 wide down into corner number 1, and it looks like, not sure here. Let's try to settle this down here. Let's play it back and take a look at it again. Let's get another angle here on what happened. So Colton Hardy's down low here through the center of the corner on corner exit. You see the rear end really sideways, not only on the 6, but also on that 97 ride. And I think both drivers just pushing their trucks to the limit. Kind of just run out of room right here on corner exit. I think with both drivers really hanging the rear ends out so much, it kind of tail tags, the 97 tail tags the front end of the 6 ride. That kind of gets them both straightened out. And finally, the 6 ride straightened out into that right rear again of the 97 ride. And it's just going to shove Colton Hardy up into the outside fence, goes upside down, goes for a barrel roll, and luckily enough comes to a rest on all 4 tires, but then does get collected again by Paul Durkee as Durkee runs into him. Pretty solid hit there for Durkee. The 28 right of Somerville also goes around, but that was a couple big hits right there for a couple fast cats, and it was great to see. It looked like that number 97 was going to put up a bit of a fight here. He was trying to work his way into the top 5, and obviously with those issues, going to be back deeper in the field here for this restart, but it does bring Nate Cogdell We saw Congdale throughout this race have some incredible runs up and through the field, battling through a lot of traffic, and including here in this feature event. He raced his way up there fairly decently early on, ran into some issues, ended up a lap down, had gotten a lucky dog back onto the lead lap, and for the QH Designs Night Stalker ride, he is right back into the mix here, back up inside the top 5 here for Nate Congdale. What has he got left in the tank late in this race, as we'll get ready to find out as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. This time it's Catania down the inside, Kleinert up on the high side. Great launch for the inside groove as the 318 with a great launch, able to quickly roll out in front, try to open up a bit of a lead between himself and his teammate as it's going to bring Matt Hayden. Here comes the Night Stalker. Here comes their other teammate, Tyler Stevenson, back up inside the top 5 as well. He's looking to try to work his way up into maybe a CCR eSports podium here this evening if he can join his teammates inside the top 3. As he rolls there to the outside, the 51 sits in 4th position. But out in front here, as the laps continue to work their way down, we inch closer and closer to our checkered flag. Back down across the start finish line. It will be 5 laps left to go here for Matthew Catania. 5 more laps left here for the 318 machine to try to put himself up and into victory lane, as Caleb Kleinert and Matt Hayden duking it out back here for position number 2. Kleinert able to cross back over that 5 ride. Hayden will look to keep on rolling the outside lane, but for the 196, you can really start to see that truck starting to struggle a little bit here. He's trying to hang on to 3rd. And these tires have got to be shot for not only Caleb Kleinert, but for a lot of these drivers. Their trucks are an absolute handful. You can see how they're just pushing them to the limits, trying to hang on to them as best as they can, and unfortunately, Kleinert does lose position number 2 there to Hayden. So Hayden jumps up into 2nd as he does see his teammate right there behind him, Tyler Stevenson, in position number 4. And here comes David Trailer back up inside the top 5. Trailer to the inside, able to work his way around Nate Congdale. And for David, who had gotten tied up and turned around and pointed the wrong direction for the 54 ride, battling his way back up through the traffic and maybe back inside a top 4, top 5 run here this evening as he rolls to the inside of the 51 of Tyler Stevenson now, with only a couple laps left to go for position number 4 on the racetrack. But out in front, it's all Matthew Catania. 1 second gap between himself and Matt Hayden, as Catania will lead us up and in through corner number 3, nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. And for the 318 machine, back down across the line, we'll see the white flag fly. So the white flag is displayed for that CCR eSports white flag this afternoon. It's the CCR eSports number 318 of Matthew Catania, who's able to lead us for the final time down through 3, nice and easy out at corner number 4 for the final time this evening. It will be Matthew Catania who will pick up the win here this evening in the CCR eSports Knoxville Dirt Derby. It's a driver of their own who will find victory lane and finally being able to punch through for his first win on the season as Catania picks up the dub. He'll get ready to celebrate. This is going to be a huge weight lifted off his shoulders. Finally able to get this ride back up and into victory lane as Matt Hayden will come home in 2nd, and his teammate Caleb Kleinert will round out our top 3. David Trailer Jr., Tyler Stevenson the top 5 with Clinton Woodby, Ashley Ellison Jr., Nick Gardner, Rusty Modesty, and Kevin Winker will round out our top 10. K-Dub there with that 10th position here this afternoon as the 318 ride now going to get ready to celebrate a big win here this evening. Matthew Catania, and he is absolutely pumped up. Going to do a it's a Polish victory lap here this evening. Obviously, these trucks don't turn right as good as they do left here on the dirt surface, but nonetheless, for the 318 ride, Matthew Catania will pull himself up and into victory lane here at Knoxville Raceway. We'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our drivers up here, rest of our top 3 up for some post-race interviews. As K-Dub says, for being a non-dirt guy, I'll take a 10th. Yeah, heck of a run, heck of a drive right there, brother. That is absolutely incredible. Now, I wonder if, I'm sure Catania knows, yeah, you can drive through this fence right here. Yep, you can go right through that fence, brother. He's going to back it in there. You can drive right through that fence and into that victory lane if you actually get in there. You can drive right on through it. But he's going to continue to celebrate, but we're going to get ready to pull our top three up and into the broadcast booth here for some great, finishes, man. Some great finishes, some great runs here this evening. I think he's trying to find his way into victory lane. Matthew, you're going to drive through the fence, brother. You're going to drive through that chain link fence on the other side. That's where you got to go. That's where you got to go. That's how you find victory lane here at Knoxville. As looks like he's going to take it back down to the pits here. Him and his team A is going to celebrate as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top three up and into the broadcast booth for some great post-race interviews as Matthew Catania picks up the win. Let's get him up here into the Peacemaker broadcasting booth right now for his post-race victory after a huge win for that 318. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Matthew, man, what a run, what a race here this evening. Obviously, coming from the asphalt side of things and being back onto the dirt action here in these NASCAR trucks, you're going to pick right up where you left off and just being able to, battle hard, racing for that win all evening long. And it seemed for a while like it was clean sailing for you. You led the most laps, you won the pole position, you just looked absolutely blazing fast all night long. But late in this race, track started to get slicked off, tires starting to fall off. You start to get that pressure from your teammate Caleb Kleiner. Do you throw David Traylor Jr., Matt Hayden right into the mix there, man? It was definitely a little bit of high stress there on those closing restarts, but you're able to hold them off, get the good jump, get the good restart, and able to pick up your first win of the season, man. Take us back through this one and what's going through your mind right now after a big dub here in Knoxville.
Yeah, I just want to say I won this for my grandpa. He passed away last month, and tonight I I ran his one of his favorite paint schemes. Not identical, but it's close enough, and it means a lot. It means a lot to win with it. And yeah, I was pretty confident coming into tonight. I'm originally a dirt racer. I'm better at dirt than I am asphalt most times, and yeah, I just wanted to dominate tonight. So I practiced as much as I could, even though it was a couple sessions here and there throughout the week. But I felt very confident coming into tonight, and the lines changed a little more than I thought they would. I didn't expect it to go to the top for as long as it did. Um, I noticed towards the end there. I mean, I was running the top and running that cut down line, pulling away a little bit here and there, and then we had that late race caution. Caleb was able to hang with me there a little bit. And we ran the top together, but then the bottom came back in. Bottom was definitely the way to go towards the end there, and yeah, man, I'm glad I got the win, got that out of the way, and can go on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally getting that monkey off your back. Obviously, having such a successful last season to come in here and now all of a sudden, being, 9, 10 races in and not being able to find victory lane yet, obviously has been, eating at you here, man. And I'm sure,
Oh yeah.
it feels good to finally find yourself up here in the winner's circle.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many races this year. I mean, I feel like I could have won, and just like last week, I was leading and exited pit road too soon, got a black flag, had to come back and do a drive through, and Hickory pitted too soon, lost that opportunity. Sebring got wrecked. Um, it just seems like every race there's something goes wrong, and I'm glad that tonight I could pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally able to punch through and put that ride up and into victory lane here this evening for what was, a very, very exciting and very fun race. Obviously, anytime we get these NASCAR trucks on dirt, it becomes, a spectacle for all the fans in the stands to sit back, watch it, and enjoy. So, these guys put on a heck of a show for us. And honestly, even though we saw, maybe 6 caution flags there for that feature event, probably a lot better than, we probably expected here this afternoon.
Absolutely. I expected way more cautions. Some of the cautions tonight probably could have been avoided, but I mean, overall, I can't complain. I mean, we had what, 2 20-lap runs and a couple other 10-lap runs. So I mean, that's pretty good for a group of guys that don't usually race dirt. And we were able to pretty much keep it clean the entire race. Caleb and I had some good racing there, and Trailer, Would-Be, all the guys up front there, we had some pretty good racing. So
Yeah, great battles all around the racetrack, man. A lot of drivers, battling their way towards the front, falling back, battling back, and just putting on an absolute great show for us here this evening. And for yourself, finally able to break through, put yourself up into victory lane here at Knoxville Raceway, a race sponsored by CCR eSports, a team that you're, a part of, man. It's got to feel, extra special being able to, be the sponsored car to be able to pick up the sponsored race win.
absolutely, man. I mean, all five of us, me, Caleb, Tyler, Ashley, Nick, we all finished in the top 10. That's a great day. Nick's not a dirt racer, so the fact he was able to, get a few spots, hang around eighth to 10th the entire race, that's awesome. Tyler, he doesn't race dirt, and he might have been a little all over the place, but he's still fast, and he was still able to pull off top five. And Ashley, man, from the B main, finished seventh. I mean, that's awesome. Caleb, we were able to run up front together. I love when all five of us can run relatively good and get some good points and stuff like that. So great run for the team tonight.
Yeah, great run for the team. Great race for yourself as you parked that 318 up in victory lane. Matthew, who'd you like to thank for such a great run and great performance here this evening?
I'd like to thank my team. I'd like to thank my team for practicing when we can. Figuring stuff out together. I'd like to thank Caleb, especially for making my paint scheme tonight. It means a lot to me. It really does. And I'd like to thank my girlfriend for supporting me every Monday, letting me do this. And um, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting, and Nate for putting this on.
Absolutely, brother. Well, heck of a run, heck of a race here this evening. Now we go from obviously the dirt track, I do believe, back to the asphalt again next week. I'm not too sure what the racetrack is.
Darlington.
Montague. Oh, Darlington. That's right, Darlington. Okay, so we go from
Yeah.
one tricky dirt track to a fairly tricky, Darlington Raceway, man, which is going to be another fun show and a throwback night as well. So you can probably run this paint scheme back-to-back weeks. Maybe it'll be a lucky charm, and maybe we'll see you right back up here in Victory Lane.
Oh, absolutely. I got one picked out for next week, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's another track I'm pretty good at. Just don't have good luck. So hopefully we can turn that around next week and get another good finish.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to seeing how it all plays out for you, brother. Enjoy tonight's dub, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the workers in the victory lane a little bit sooner.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up from the winner's circle. That's what I was trying to say. Winner's circle, the number 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania picks up the dub here tonight from Knoxville Raceway, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there from him all evening long, man. We saw him build some pretty sizable gaps there, some big leads, and able to finally punch through and pick up his first win of the season. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the 5 run of Matt Hayden. Hayden jumps up and steals that second spot away from Caleb Clarity, able to work his way into a podium finish. Let's get Hayden up and into the booth. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
Hey, Aaron.
Matt, man, great run, great race for yourself this afternoon, man. Take us back through this one. Obviously, getting back onto the dirt track, kind of slicing and dicing it here throughout the top 5, top 10 all evening long, and finally late in this race, couple good restarts, couple great launches, and you're able to work your way up and into position number 2 here this evening, man. Take us back through it and what's kind of going through your mind.
Yeah, we were just talking, Catania, when he jumped back up in the green room real quick, he said, Hayden, what the hell are you doing up here? And I asked myself the same thing. I don't do dirt that often. I don't come from a background. Obviously, those other two guys do dirt kart, but they're familiar with running in the mud. Yeah, I don't do it. I was just telling them, I think, was kind of running it like an asphalt short track, just kind of hugging the bottom and not to burn up the rear tire. I mean, it's not. I know that there's like you want to have the right rear, not be as hot. But as far as everything else goes, it was kind of trying to run the bottom, and yeah, I don't know, man. Everything kind of just parted out of the way, and I think Caleb ran into a little bit of an issue and let me slide by, and then it was just kind of second place at dirt. So here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can come home with this, talented field in second place, it is a great night at the racetrack. And obviously, when you come to the dirt track, there's obviously those dirt ringers in the field, and for yourself to be able to jump up here and come home with a second place finish is kind of feel like a win in its own here this afternoon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously, Matthew Catania was, he was class of the field, and we kind of knew that coming in. Um, Ran some practice last night, obviously, practice today, and qualifying just kind of showed that he was in a different league tonight. So, second place, I think, was kind of a win for everybody else in their mind. So, yeah, no, happy with it. Like I said, I didn't have much expectation to finish very well here. I would have been happy with the top 10 on how things kind of were going early on. But yeah, man, excited. It's a lot of fun, man. Watching these things slide around sideways. It's unsettling because they're not supposed to do that. And they don't drive really well on dirt, but I have a feeling when I go back and watch the broadcast, it look pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Always looks fun when we see these NASCAR trucks out there on the dirt surface. And obviously, anytime we're here and we get to watch dirt track racing, that's my bread and butter. That's where I got my, my start in for, my real life racing. And then here in even broadcasting as well was the dirt track action. And it's always fun when we come back to these things and then get to kind of see you asphalt guys, get your hands into the dirt here a little bit and kind of, see what you guys can do and see how you guys can handle it. And here tonight, it seemed like you and David and, Tyler Stevenson, guys that, don't run a whole lot of dirt, putting on a heck of a battle, a heck of a show here up through our top 5.
Yeah, and I want to thank, obviously I think you saw early on, Russ kind of had some things figured out. Clinton kind of had some figured out. Jimmy Fitzmaurice actually helped me with the steering ratio and the offset and brake bias and kind of some tips as far as drag and brake and stuff like that. So just shout out to the team for kind of, everyone kind of pitching in, kind of giving little tips and stuff like that, because obviously it helped. I had no business being up front, but here we are.
Absolutely, here you are, and up and into that second position here this evening. Matt, who else would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance here this evening in your second place finish?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody, obviously, with the team, like I said before. I also want to give a shout out to the guys over at Challenger Racing League. Cup Series on Tuesday nights. Got a fun race going on early and hosted. So anybody that wants to come out, I think we're running Formula 1600s maybe. And then we'll have an open race in the Next Gen Cup at Charlotte. So anybody wants to come and have some fun with us and the Misfit guys, everybody's welcome. I want to thank everybody in the league, Nate, for getting another dirt track on the schedule. It's one of those I don't want to see a dirt track on the schedule ever again, but when we have a finish like this, I won't mind it next time. So, and then I want to thank you for putting on broadcast. I'm looking forward to watching back.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matt, heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. We can't wait to see you guys back in action from Darlington next Monday night and see if you can park yourself right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Looking forward to it, Aaron. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Matt Hayden as Hayden comes home in position number 2 here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that number 5 ride. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the 196. It's Caleb Gleinert. Gleinert comes home here in that third position. Let's get Caleb up here into the broadcast booth here himself. Hey, Caleb, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, man, what's going on?
Not much, Caleb. Man, heck of a run, heck of a show here this evening. Obviously, some tight battles out there, some great fun, and you're able to duke it out here inside the top 2, top 3 pretty much all evening long, whether it was you and David Trailer or you and that 5 ride of Matt Hayden or just you and your teammate Matthew Catania duking it out for the race lead here late in this race. You guys put on a show for us, and you're able to come home, at least still with a top 3 finish, as it looked like that truck started to fade away there a little bit. Maybe those rear tires starting to get a little bit too heated up late in this race, and unfortunately, just not enough left in the tank to keep Hayden back there at bay.
Yeah, I definitely around halfway or so drove it way harder than I should have, and just didn't have the tire left at the end. Just couldn't put the power down, center off, especially once it moved back to the bottom those last 5 to 8 laps. But yeah, just being able to lead some laps. I always have the dirt races circled on the calendar. Won Eldora last year. Knew we was going to be good here, but obviously, Catania he's great. I mean, he's almost made the Pro Series on dirt multiple times. Just you always know you're going to chase him here. So yeah, just to be able to even be with him some during the race was cool. But to go 1-2 most of the race there, finish first and third, definitely cool.
Yeah, definitely very cool. Definitely great to see, and obviously for a pair of CCR eSports ride in a series, a race sponsored by your team. It's got to feel pretty good being able to put on a show and obviously put one car up in victory lane, 2 here inside the broadcast booth post race has got to feel pretty dang good as well.
Yeah, I know. We sponsored the Kentucky or not Kentucky, Nashville. A couple weeks ago, Tyler won that, and obviously the dirt race, loved sponsoring them. I won it last year sponsoring it. Matt won it this year. And I, obviously I wanted to win it for myself, but it's really cool to have Matt win it in his grandpa's throwback scheme, because his grandpa passed away 8-9 weeks ago. So that's cool for him to win in that scheme. We've been saving it for this race in particular. So, really cool to have it all fall together there.
Yeah, absolutely. Really cool story there, and obviously being able to have his, grandpa's throwback paint scheme on board with him here this evening, and finally being able to punch through and find victory lane. We know it's been a bit of a struggle there for Catania, being able to finish these races off, and for, how well he did last season to be, 9-10 races into our regular season now, for him to not have a victory seems almost abnormal, and finally able to punch through here tonight in this one, which I feel is long overdue for that 318 machine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like our whole team, we've been good enough to win a couple of races between me, Matt, and Tyler, and Nick's been creeping on up there. Ashley's getting better each week. I think we can all 5 win a race if the cards fall right. Just how races play out. You can't ever predict them. We wanted to predict that we was going to win this race, but anything could have happened. But just to finish it off here, go first and third. I think all of us ran top 8 too, which was really good. I know Ashley drove back from the rear twice. Nick, not a dirt guy, just ran top 10 all race. Same thing with Tyler. Just we put in a lot of emphasis on these dirt races, of course. So just like I said, it's really cool to pull it all off, put it all together, and interesting to see the replay. I love going back and watching these dirt races. So, can't wait to watch your stream and check it all out.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of action, a lot of craziness up and down throughout the field. And for yourself tonight, man, a hell of a show there at the front of the pack as you're able to duke it out here all evening long inside the top 3, and you round out the top 3 here in that 3rd position. Caleb, who'd you like to thank for another great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Once again, like I said, everybody at CCR eSports. Matt Holden, Matt Catania, Ashley Ellison Jr., Nick Gardner, Tyler Stevenson. They all put in a bunch of laps. I've been on vacation since last Monday, so I didn't get to test any until today. So their feedback went a long ways. 5-star tire specialties, turbo HV, paper cuts, Marjula C-Speed Shop, Victory Seats, C High Performance. I'm probably forgetting others, but you guys for putting on the broadcast, Nate and everybody running this league, giving us something fun to do on Monday nights.
Yeah, absolutely no better place to be on a Monday night than here with the Metalheads Racing Series and being able to, battle and duke it out here with a great group of drivers every Monday night. Caleb, we can't wait to see you guys back in action as we head to Darlington next Monday, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better, and back up into victory lane yourself.
Yeah, that's the plan. Definitely. Next couple of races, I'm kind of skeptic about, Darlington, and I think it's Motegi after that. 2 really tough racetracks, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can put it all together and get us into victory lane one of these weeks.
Absolutely, brother. We look forward to it. Caleb, enjoy the rest of your night, and congrats again on the 3rd place finish.
I appreciate it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Caleb Kleinert. As Kleinert comes home here in 3rd, man. Great run, great drive there for that 196 machine. Unfortunately, though, that is going to do it for us here this evening. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here this evening. It was a heck of a show, heck of a night of racing action, man. A lot of good back and forth battles out there on the speedway. Everyone just putting together a great show and a great performance for us here tonight. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here all evening long. Everyone coming in and showing the love here in this one, man. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and can't wait to see you guys back in here as we go to battle tomorrow night again with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. That's going to be another amazing show, going to be another amazing race there with those fellas getting them back into the action. I do believe they head to Kansas Speedway tomorrow night for what should be another great night of racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming, and hopefully we'll see you guys all back in the grandstands cheering those drivers on. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here this evening. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you guys all back here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my 6, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my 6, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each